Boom. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Unbreakable Confidence. It's your host, Ryan Romano, and I'm here with my homie, Frankie, and AKA the Chick-fil-A Queen. Super excited. Super excited to have you on. Super glad that you were able to join me this afternoon and ready to really pick your brain. It's been a while since we've been able to really dive deep and chat.
It's true. I'm excited.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into it. Got a list of questions. We're going to run through this and then we'll see what you got. All right. So first things first, right? So I really consider you a high performer, right? Like you're really good at what you do, not only within your sport of gymnastics, but really just overall as a person as well. So I always think like high performers have something that makes them unique, right? Like we all have certain things that separate ourselves, that we add value in certain types of way. So like, what would you say is really like, what makes you unique, and what maybe one or two things really drive like your own uniqueness to be able to, provide as much value as possible?
This is a good question. But I think like my top answer right now would be how much I value being an athlete. Because my father, he's not with me anymore, but he was an MLB baseball player, played for Kansas City Royals when he was younger in college and stuff. So I get my athleticism from him like 100%.
Right.
And now that I don't have him here with me every day, I feel like when I'm being an athlete and training and doing what I do while being an athlete, I always refer back to him, because I love being an athlete. That is 100% who I am, but it always makes it more special because I know I get it from him. So it's kind of like when I'm training, I'm making him proud, or that's what goes through my head. So it makes me work harder, train harder, makes me determined, all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm always interested too, because that's a unique piece of your puzzle, right? Like, so what are ways that, like you mentioned, that he's not physically here with you, but how do you continue to keep that like relationship alive in terms of like just with you personally, and to really like keep that uniqueness? Because it sounds like that's really meaningful to you in keeping that relationship, that kind of that fire going each and every day. How do you do that?
So one of them is in the gym when I'm training, athlete stuff. I can always refer back to him because he would do the same thing. But another little thing we do within my family is whenever we see a rainbow, we think of him, because it's rainbow in the sky, whenever guardian angel type thing. So whenever I see a rainbow, it's he's with me. And it's funny because in my room, I have this big window and I open it all the time, and sun shines through, and there's always 2 or 3 little rainbows on my desk from the sun.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he's here. So that's the main thing that I always see. And it's super sunny in here in Fayetteville, so I always see them. So that's just always the thing with me.
Yeah, no. That's super cool. And one thing too is, I kind of failed to mention, as we kind of got going within the intro, is you're the OG of somebody that truly trusted me early on, having those conversations, being able to build that connection, and I guess for lack of better terms of what I've called mentorship now. So I want to piggyback on top of that is prior coming to Arkansas, what do you think were some of the biggest challenges for you leading up till college? And I feel like I know where we're going to go with this answer. So let's go 2 different directions in terms of physically, but as well as mentally as well too.
Yeah. Well, physically, obviously with my injury.
Yeah.
This is the biggest injury.
So dive into that though. Let's go there, because when was your first one? What was it? How did that kind of transpire?
My first injury?
Yeah.
So I had my first injury in May, a couple of years ago, I think it was.
So that would have been your sophomore year? Junior year?
sophomore, I think.
Sophomore? Cool.
And that was with my ankle, and that went on for like ever. And I went to the doctor, and they told me it was sprained, and I was like, okay, I can work with that. So like I trained on it and competed everything like my full year, and it was still bothering me, so I had to go back, obviously. So I went back, and they told me that it was like not a sprain, that it was fractured. So I like my mindset kind of switched a little bit, like, okay, I can stop. Like they told me the wrong thing. Now I have to get surgery. Like my ankle was just like all the time loose. So I needed to get it fixed anyways. So that was like my first big surgery. And then I was like coming back from that and everything. And I had like a good streak going. I had like little injuries like in my finger or whatever. But then my knee happened May of this year. So that kind of took a toll on everything.
Yeah.
How's
everything with the knee?
It's good, actually. Therapy's going really well. I met all my goals and everything, and I'm ahead of the schedule. So I'm on a good track right now.
Yeah, that's what was kind of the progression with that? Obviously, coming out of that, I'm sure it was like walking at first, and then.
So I had the surgery July 1st, and I was like bed rest for like a week and a half. I was in too much pain to move at all or get up. So it was because we were in the dorms at the time.
Yeah.
So, and my bed was like up, and I had to move my bed to the floor because I couldn't do all that and moving up and everything. But yeah, I did that, and I was on crutches for 3 months. I just recently got out of crutches in my brace. Yeah. So I had to like keep my brace locked out for a little bit, and then I got to move at like 30 degrees, and then 90, and like then like 130, and then I got out of it after that. So it was just like within like a few weeks of progression that I made. So
yeah. All right, so let's go back. So what do you feel like prior to college, biggest like mental hurdle that A, you may have overcome, B, you may have not overcome, but leading up to college, like what do you feel like was the biggest hurdle coming up till then?
Honestly, I think it was just a tiny doubt in my mind that I might not make it all the way here, just like staying committed to Arkansas. You know, I've been committed since I was 14. I just turned 19, so I've been with Arkansas for like a good.
You said that like you are 45 years old.
I know, but still, it's a long time. It's a long time. Like when I was younger, like I wasn't even thinking about like 14. Like I wasn't thinking about coming to college. And then when I did, like the thought of like staying with it for 4 years and then having to like actually go and compete for that team for 4 years, it was like, I don't know if I'd be good with that, because like I am good with this stuff, like commitment stuff, like I'd be fine. But I don't know, there was just like a small doubt in my head. But I mean, and then we had like coaching staff change and everything, and they're absolutely amazing. So I mean, that doubt went away really quickly. But like as soon as I got here, I was like, no, like I still love this place.
So what stood out when you were 14 looking there? Were you looking anywhere else? I don't even know if I know this story.
Yeah, I was looking at a few other places, but Arkansas honestly wasn't even on my list when I was first starting the recruiting process. But our coaches, like they came in the gym and they watched me train for like maybe like a couple hours. I was like at an appointment that morning, I think. So I had to come in later because I knew they wanted to watch me. So I trained, and I got a call like a week later saying they love my gymnastics and everything. And they offered, and I waited because I didn't know.
Yeah.
I hadn't even been to Arkansas. So I had to go visit first and everything.
You didn't even know it was a state at that time.
Right. I was just like, oh my gosh. Before I saw it. But yeah, it was super cool. Like my little 14-year-old mind, like I was like the first freshman to commit. So it was super cool. Just like watching everyone commit and just my freshman class building up, you know?
Yeah. So what do you feel like is like that mental hurdle now that you've gotten to school? Obviously it sounds like a lot of it was a bit of uncertainty, not knowing, like there was coaching changes, you committed early, like not really sure, like what I threw against the wall, is it going to continue to stick over the next 4 or 5 years? What's that hurdle now?
I think the main thing I've realized mentally is that change is good. There's been a lot of that. There has been, like just within even me being here, like just a lot of different things. But I have realized that change is so good.
So what was that like? if there was that, I guess, light bulb moment, what was that instance to where like something changed and you're like, oh shit, like this is really not that bad of a thing. Like this is actually like, maybe it means that I'm growing a little bit, or maybe it means that we're adapting in a certain way. What was that moment, if there was one?
It was honestly just starting the whole college process. Like being a freshman in college is like, it's a lot. Like you're gonna go through a lot of like orientation, freshman stuff, like meeting new people, going to classes. Cause like a lot of us were homeschooled before we came, just due to COVID and everything. And they had all of the classes here. So that was a big change. Our freshmen, we lived in dorms, like normal freshmen for like maybe a month. And then we moved into apartments. So just like traveling with all the athletes that way has been super cool and everything. So
are you dorm or apartment now?
I'm apartment right now. I was
Oh.
only in dorms for like a month.
Which one you like better?
Apartments. But like honestly, we all missed the dorms just because we had so many memories there, like just moving in, like first few weeks as a freshman.
Yeah, I feel like that's like a piece of the college experience. Like, you know, put that nasty Kraft mac and cheese in the microwave, you know, it's like you gotta go through that for a whole year. The ramen noodles.
Yes, that's a big one.
The cafeteria food. I mean, hey. So do y'all have your own caf?
We do. We have it's called the Jones Center, and it's like athletes only. But yeah, they make food every day.
That's why you're there, because it's bougie.
That's true. Really cool. It's like a big facility. Like all the athletes go there. We do a lot of our work there too, because there's like tutors when we need it, and all our academic people are there. So it's really, we have like study hall hours too, so we're there most of our time anyways.
Yeah. How many hours do you have to get for, do you have to do a certain number of hours per week?
Yes, we have 6 hours a week right now. But I mean, depending on how good your grades are, it'll like go down to like 4 or 3. So
Yeah. So what was the biggest, it could be coming in or even now, like what was the biggest, I guess, adaptation that you had to make once you got there?
Adulting.
What does adulting mean to you?
Well, I mean, so like back home, I would live with like my 2 younger sisters, and we were like together all the time. Like I always have my mom around and everything. And just like moving, like I moved out of the state. Like I'm no longer in Texas. I'm in the state of Arkansas by myself. Like I don't have like parent like guiding me to do this or telling me when to do this or when to plan.
Oh, you got to actually do your own laundry now.
I know. That too. It's just like, I mean, like life where like my mom would help me out, I'm doing by myself now. And before that, I was honestly worried because like I wasn't the best at that when I lived back home. But now it's gotten so much better. And now that I'm getting older, I'm getting used to it and everything. And I'm going through it with my friends, like with my class. So that makes it better too. Like we're all going through the same thing.
Yeah. How many came in with your class?
There's 6 of us.
That's a pretty solid number.
Yeah, it's a big class.
It's probably like half your team.
we have like 2 seniors that are like 5th, 6th year.
Yeah.
And like 3 or 4 seniors. So we're losing like 6, I think. So
I got you.
So
when you came in and having to learn to adult on yourself, were you homesick?
No, actually, I wasn't.
Really?
No. I think I was definitely ready to go to college.
But even when you got there, oh my God, I remember when I first got to school. Oh boy.
No, like I was excited. Like I'd been excited to like move out and start college like months prior. I don't know what it was. Like I was like preparing myself already.
Yeah.
Ready to be a part of like a college team because it was just so cool to me. And I love being a student athlete. So I was just ready for it all.
So what's been the most exciting thing that you didn't anticipate when you got there?
That I didn't anticipate?
Yeah, like something that you're like, oh wow, like I had no idea like that was gonna happen, or this experience or whatever. I know one thing, y'all's football team this year, that's a surprise.
That is such a good surprise. Honestly, all our freshman football players are doing so good. Like, they're all out there. But yeah, honestly, I think it's meeting like all of the other student athletes and getting so close with them.
Yeah.
I knew I would like meet them, but I guess I didn't, like, I knew, but I didn't process that I would like actually be living with them and spending a lot of time with them, like other sports. So it's really cool getting to know them and like their personalities and their sports, like knowing about other sports. And we go and support them at other games like basketball, football, soccer, all that. So it's really cool. But I wasn't expecting to make as many friends in as many sports. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So since you weren't homesick, my real question is, and I'm putting you on blast right now, is how often you still call your mama?
I try to call her once a week.
You try to call her what?
Once a week.
What?
If not.
Okay. What about your sisters?
I actually text them sometimes. Like, no, not sometimes, but like I text them like on a normal occasion, honestly, because.
Oh, so you just gone full Hollywood on everybody?
Never. No, but like I keep them updated with stuff that I'm doing, because like when Morgan came up here, she met some of my friends, so now they love her. So now like she's kind of in the mood, which is kind of cool. And Kristen's still waiting to come up here, but she's coming. So
she hasn't been at all yet.
No, well, I think she's been like once, maybe, I don't remember, but she hasn't been up here like actually like hang out with people.
Yeah. So that's a really interesting scenario too, is, you know, if your sister was to come there with you.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Mighty Ducks?
Ooh.
Oh my God, you've never seen the Mighty Ducks?
Oh.
That's your homework. I'm gonna give you the Disney Plus login, and you need to go watch the Mighty Ducks, because I can't even say what.
I have Disney Plus.
What do you do? That's homework tonight then.
I'll do it. Okay, I got it.
I can't even reference the Bash Brothers. Like, that's what you guys would be. You guys would be the Bash Brothers, but I guess it'd be Bash Sisters. So what are your I guess let's divide it up into kind of two different questions, is goals, I guess, for this upcoming season, and then what's something or a couple things that you really want to accomplish, you know, while you're there at Arkansas, and go both routes in terms of, you know, obviously athletically, that's a big piece of the puzzle, but maybe something different, you know, outside of the gym as well.
So I did have like a pretty big goal of being SEC Freshman of the Year when I came, but of course my injury put that on hold. So no worries, though, I'm coming back. But I mean, I guess just for my team, like I'm their biggest supporter right now. So just cheering them on, making sure they're in a good place all the time. And I mean, like helping them get their SEC championship win that we're all working for is really big. So that's just kind of in the gym.
Yeah.
Outside of gym, I would just say working on myself, because this injury like is taking a toll on me mentally pretty big. So it's hard to. Were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what does working on yourself mean? What does it mean to you, right? Because that means something different to everybody.
It does. So for me, it just means staying mentally in the game. So I mean, I'm at the gym every day with the team, but I'm not with the team, you know, like training.
Yeah.
Doing all that stuff. I'm just like a bit away in the training room doing therapy and stuff like that, like as of right now. So that's hard. But I mean, I don't struggle with staying in the game mentally, but just having to constantly remind myself that I am a part of the team. I did get recruited. Like I will be back to where I was. So it's good, the reminder and keeping myself like just on track.
Yeah. So what about like overall, like I guess really over 4 or 5 years throughout your experience there is what are some of the things that you want to accomplish?
When I start training,
Let me rephrase. If you could write the script for your perfect story and at the end of, let's assume 5 years, let's just say 5 years, what would that look like at the end?
at the end,
In terms of things that you want to accomplish, desires that you want to have met, what would those be?
I really want to be known by the time I finish here. Like just whether I'm like at a meet or just like around campus, like I know Frankie Price, like I like putting my name out there and having people like know me or like come to me for anything, like that's just like my personality. Like I'm outgoing and stuff like that. So just
you are outgoing.
that's how I make a lot of friends. Just like when I'm done here, I want people to like remember my name,
So what about outside of gym too?
Outside of this, the same thing.
Same.
Yeah. Like, how do I put it? Huh.
We didn't know we were having deep talks with Ryan this afternoon.
Sure. I mean, really just like leaving my mark here. Like there's not much thought put to that, so like I'm at a loss of words a little bit, but that is like a desire that I have when I'm leaving here.
Yeah. So when you do leave, what are some of the, I guess, I'm not asking like, what do you want to be when you grow up, but like, what are some of the interests that you have after gym is all said and done?
So I'm hoping to still be in school after just like getting my master's degree and stuff like that with school. But I have a few different interests that I want.
That's why I'm curious. Like, what are like the 2, 3, 4, 5 different interests that you have?
Like careers when I get older.
Sure.
So I kind of want to be a lawyer.
Okay.
So
you really trying to go to some school.
I'm not, but I like being a lawyer is something I could see myself doing.
Yeah.
So I would do it for that, just for like a good future because I need that. But I also have I want to stay in the sports field.
Okay.
So I have that in the back of my head. But I also have this interior designer talent that I can do pretty well.
Okay.
So I have some routes that I need to think more and research more about. But just trying to plan my future the best it can be. So I just gotta go in the right direction.
No, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing right now for most of the people like your age is just figuring out what some of those interests are, right? It's not I want to be, a fireman when I grow up and this is what I want to do. It's kind of hey, here's 4 or 5 things. I kind of want to venture down multiple of these avenues and see what I like, see what kind of sticks, and see what I can see myself doing for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. It's actually enjoyable to me.
Yeah, I'm in this B-Law class right now, business law, and it's I'm actually learning a lot about law and being a lawyer. Yeah. My career is big time lawyer, attorney, all this. So I'm oh, it's kind of cool. But I'm a business major.
I was gonna say, are you business right now?
I am, yeah. Just because I just heard so many things about being able to do a lot with a business major. So it would be just easiest getting a job or getting.
You gonna move back to Texas?
I don't know.
If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
I really like Miami.
Oh my God, you are bougie. Why Miami? First of all, have you been to Miami?
Yes, I've been to Miami.
Oh, okay. I was just curious. I didn't know if you watched like MTV one too many times or something.
I don't watch it. I don't know. It's nice out there.
But anywhere in the world, Miami still?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think so.
All right. So rapid fire. Outside of Chick-fil-A, what's your favorite fast food place?
Canes.
Canes?
Yes.
Non-fast food, what's your favorite restaurant?
Cheesecake Factory.
In your house, who cooks the best?
My mom.
Kristen only makes Oreo milkshakes. What's Morgan make?
Morgan can cook pretty well too, actually.
She can cook?
Yes, Morgan can cook really well.
So what's Morgan's go-to? If she's gonna make a dish for you guys, what's she going with?
I think Alfredo pasta.
Makes sense. Makes
chicken.
sense.
It's really good.
So if you could take any vacation place that you haven't been to, where would it be?
Hawaii.
Why Hawaii?
I don't know. I've always wanted to go to Hawaii.
You keep staying domestic.
It was gonna be like my senior trip, but we didn't end up going. We went to Cabo instead. No.
Rough life, tough life.
No, I love Cabo, but like I just like always wanted to go and see Hawaii because like it's just so cool. So I want to go there.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, last couple questions. So obviously the whole theme here, right, like is being able, for me, it's like empowering people like to guide them towards deciding and creating like their own lives, their own desires, their own dreams. And a big chunk of that boils down to like an individual's like confidence and belief system in their self, right? And obviously we've had multiple conversations, but for you personally, like what does confidence mean to you? No wrong answer.
To me, confidence is just owning who you are. Like, I mean, I am Frankie Price. So like whenever you see Frankie Price, like that's the amount of like strength and confidence that shows is like what comes out is the confidence in me. Like you gotta walk around like you own the place, never like positive attitude always. Just like being confident in general, like there's really no room to like doubt yourself too much or second guess like what you think is right personally.
Right.
So there's a lot to it, but
okay. So kind of the last one is I always think it's unique to have or be able to to like have you guys like on the podcast and then also being able to pass along like your own knowledge, your own wisdom, really based on like your own experience. So going back, and I know the way things are like recruiting so much more different than it is like when you were a freshman, just the way they can communicate, when they can communicate and things like that. But if you were going to stand in front of, let's say 100 young, let's just say athletes in general, obviously it could be gymnasts, it could be whoever. What's one thing that like maybe you would have done something different or something that you would pass along to them to really give them their own sense of confidence in finding the right path for themselves?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're a young athlete, you obviously have a lot to go in the future. But like the biggest thing that I remind myself or like wish I remind myself more of is to remember that like God has a plan for your life and that you are where you are in the moment for a reason and that everything else happens for a reason. So like, no matter what you're going through, it's important to like stay focused and goals at the front of your mind all the time. So you're able to keep moving forward, because if you don't have that, then you're just gonna make steps backwards. And you're not gonna get to where you want, or you're not gonna make the steps you want to get to your goals that you should always have. So I think another good one is like refreshing your goals, because like they might get old. I know mine, for me, I get tired of like the same goals like every once in a while. So I do change them up a little bit. And it just kind of makes me always like eager for more, So those are like two big ones.
Yeah. And I think like what that says to me too, and I think this is like sums up everything as well, is, and I remember again, just conversations that you and I had like during those times, is really just remembering like your own value, like remembering like no matter, like if somebody walks in the gym and they say they're interested, and then 6 months they turn around and turn their back on you, it's not the most devastating thing in the world. Like you have value for somebody, some team, some group is going to notice that, and it's never forgetting that. It doesn't matter. College sports just in general is a very interesting dynamic in the way they like maybe offer or pull an offer, or the own athlete like decides to venture down a different route, even though maybe they've verbally committed somewhere and they just see a different and better opportunity. But I think it's always taking care of yourself and knowing like that you have true value to provide for somebody, and just never forgetting that.
Yeah, and it happens all the time. Like there's always going to be some room for doubt or questioning yourself, especially with like college and recruiting process, all of that. It's a long process. And even if you get like steps taken backwards, like you can't, like in the end goal, you're still trying to get to college on that scholarship or whatever you're trying to do. So like backing down from a challenge, if you get shot down, is like not the way to go. So
absolutely.
That was important to move forward.
Yeah.
Stay with it.
Yep, no doubt. Well, I know you've got to get back to things, and but if people want to continue to follow your journey, obviously this year, or even just Arkansas as a team, and then over the next several years following you, where can they find you, contact you, follow you, social media? Where's best spots?
So my Instagram is Frankie Price _.
Okay.
And then you have to follow along with the team, because we're going to be amazing this year. And you can follow that at Razorback Gym. So yeah, that's gymnastics in me. So
boom, Blue Pig.
Yeah, Blue Pig.
Well, cool. Hopefully, as you guys listen this evening, hopefully you were able to pull. My goal always is just to be able to provide like one piece of value, and it's always selfishly, I enjoy having people like Frankie on just so I can continue to grow and get something out of this. I think it's really unique to always surround yourself with people playing the game at a higher level than you. And I just term that as like high performers, and figuring out like what makes them unique and what are those uniquenesses that maybe potentially that you could add to your own life, because ultimately that's what life is all about. It is being able to really understand your own value, your own worthiness, to create the life and the desire and the dreams that you ultimately want to have. So if you guys have any questions, as always, pop them down in those comments, shoot us a direct message, continue to follow Frankie on her journey, and look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode.